Here's the most burning question today. If you all could spend your 30th birthday with a streamer, who would you choose?
You.
No. Psychos and sickos unite for a fifth seed edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Whole squad is back. I'm Eric. That's Gil. We got Espo. We got Steven and the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. But the magic cannot happen without all of you filing in chat on a Friday night as the Phoenix Suns look.
Friday?
Got to get down on Friday.
Friday. The Phoenix Suns are trying to break a streak that has been going on since 12 years of Fridays ago. The last time they won in Atlanta, Jordan Ott was a video coordinator under Mike Budenholzer. How will they do it? We could talk about it tonight, but first, thanks everybody in chat for filing in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and a big shout out to Keybon, who gifted one membership earlier before the show started. MVP. Thank you so much, Keymon. You gifted access to exclusive emojis, exclusive video content, and of course, a prepaid super chat for every month that you are a member. So Whitmore, who got the gift membership, if you re-up next month, you get a free prepaid super chat when you re-up. How you guys feeling?
I'm feeling peachy.
That's fair.
I'm feeling good. Right, let's undo some history.
You know what? I don't feel as good as I felt the last time the Suns won in Atlanta because I was 30 then.
I was in my teens.
So which streamer would you have spent your 30th birthday with?
There was no streaming back then.
Steven, how are you?
I can't follow up everything that Espo just got done saying. I'm looking forward to watching a very good team going against another good team at the end of a road trip. It should be a very fun game tonight.
Well, as our little bar on the side will say, health equals wealth, and damn it, we're rich. Let's get into the injury report, of course, presented by our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. But no serious injury on the Suns injury report because that thing is clean. There's nothing on there.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. On the Hawk side of things, Zachary Risache is out. Kristaps Porzingis is perpetually out, and N'Faly Dante is out. Oregon legend N'Faly Dante. But for the Suns, Jalen Green will be coming off the bench for the second straight game, but he will be available. Of course, Coach Ott said it is to manage his minutes. But this is the first time all season that we have had a clean injury report. Gil, it feels so good.
Feels very good. I mean, like we've talked about, just if this day comes, when it happens, eventually, we're getting closer, and then setback after setback, and one person has a step forward, another person takes a step back. So for this road trip to close out like this, hasn't been attrition on this road trip, I think is the biggest thing. These guys have been gone for a while, 6 games, 11 days, and ending it healthy, that's great.
No other thoughts on a clean injury report?
About time.
About time.
I'm not going to open my mouth because I feel like if I do, somebody's going to say I'm jinxing
That's fair.
everything.
I was going to put fully healthy in the headline, and I stopped myself because the last time I did that, we got about 8 minutes of it.
Last time I wore these two games in a row.
It
so-
really would be your fault if Jalen Green
it
gets
would not.
re-injured.
You just said it.
It would
So
really
it's
be your fault, and I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. But Steven, now that we've had some time to digest what Jalen Green did in his return and hopefully what he can do tonight, obviously the three of us got to talk about it on our show yesterday. How are you feeling post Jalen Green return about maybe what he could look like tonight in his second game?
I mean, the process is what it is. I think he left a lot of confidence in people just from how he moved, not always necessarily the result. But even with that, he still got a lot of positive results out of how he played. I think the stop that he got against VJ Edgecombe at the end of the game is one that stands out to a lot of people, but that's not something new. It's just good to see him on the court available to do it. So just getting back in tune with his strengths, kind of getting his way closer to being back in game shape and game rhythm. That's going to be a process. I think him only, did he play 15, 16 minutes?
Yeah, about
15.
About 15. So that's a good capacity to start. The fact that he didn't have to play more than that allows for him to slowly work his way back into the mix. I think if they can keep him in a box like that because of how well they've been playing and bring him along slowly, that'll help build his confidence also with that rhythm and not have him feel like he needs to press and kind of force the issue with anything.
One thing I've been hearing a lot with Jalen Green's return is a lot of people, and some of them Rockets fans, some of them not Rockets fans, are kind of like, oh, well, he's just is who he is. There's no way that he can get better. Why are Suns fans excited? And Espo, you're making a face to it. And I know that obviously we want to be on an optimistic side about what Jalen Green can be, but it really feels short-sighted to think that, oh, all of his struggles are always going to be his struggles, and there's no way he can thrive in a different situation here.
He's 23, for God's sake, and he has an offensive mastermind helping create a system that's going to put him in positions for success. Plus, he doesn't have to be the guy; he gets to be the second guy. Like, why are these things so difficult for some people to actually look at and go, you know what? A 23-year-old can grow. I mean, probably most of them aren't even 23 yet, so they don't understand. As you get older, you can get better at things, but it is what it is.
I think the one thing that's consistent with a lot of players that we see take leaps in the NBA is something drastic changes in their situation, or they are placed into a new situation. And Jalen Green has been placed into a new situation. Obviously, the injury setback has kept us from seeing what we hope to see from him, but ultimately you think about it, like I look at a different Jalen who's going to be across from him tonight. Jalen Johnson, I had to look it up, is actually older than Jalen Green, and he is one of the league's breakout players. It's kind of wild to think, right? Like just by like several weeks, but still, he's already 24. And Jalen Green is still 23 years old and is in a new situation under a mastermind of a head coach as far as offense and everything that he does on both ends of the floor. So, of course, Jalen Green has untapped potential we're going to see.
And Steven, we'll get into Jalen Johnson and taking a look at the Atlanta side of things here in a second. But one thing that I really noticed, and I saw a couple of people, which to a lot of people's credit, are giving, some leniency with Jalen Green's struggles and what might be a better situation for him, was the spacing that he was able to work with in game one and how it was different than anything he's ever played with in Houston. I know that's something you and I talked about a lot over this offseason once that trade went down, where Jalen Green's going to be operating in a mode where he's not going to be as crowded, and that might just be that missing piece to take him to another level.
That's why context matters. Look at Houston, you look at what defenses did to them, and the lack of space. I hate to bring up the Popeyes biscuit without water or honey or jelly reference again, but it's what it was. Slow, predictable offense versus a fast, dynamic offense that also comes in tandem with not just spacing as far as principles, spacing and personnel. Devin Booker's a pass away. Who's sending a double team from there? Grayson Allen's 2 passes away. If you have to rotate off of somebody and that's the choice you make, there's hefty consequences to pay for this, whether he's knocking down a 3 or he's attacking the closeout that's created from that extra attention. And it's just a wheel. He hasn't had that. And I think him finally understanding that, I think we saw it play into his psyche and his approach in that game against Philadelphia, because the speeds he played at, we've seen it before, but I feel like that was one of the more start to finish, even in a smaller capacity, one of the games where it felt like it was very intentional because he understood he could go attack these gaps without having to go from 0 to 100, because it's still going to be there, and it's just a matter of how he manipulates that.
You're not allowed to talk about biscuits or peaches around Eric, just so you know.
Anyways, we'll do our credit check here. We usually do the MVP chants, but first I want to do an HBD chant. Happy birthday to AIA Edits. Can we give him an HBD? HBD. 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 Appreciate you being here, AIA Edits. Now let's go ahead and get into our credit check. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns, and also Iguodaro. Steven, I'm going to hand this over to you because we usually take a look over at the Atlanta Hawks. Would you like to start with Jalen Johnson or Nickeil Alexander-Walker?
We can start with Jalen.
Let's do it.
So the Atlanta Hawks make the trade for multiple reasons. And it's because his skill development, his confidence, their ability to lean into him and play some of Quinn Snyder's style of basketball with a bigger, more kind of able-bodied creator than Trae Young is matters a lot for them. Takes one piece away that teams can kind of pick on your defense with if Trae's not there. Gives you a little bit more speed, a little bit more malleability to your offense. It doesn't have to be Jalen Johnson that's always initiating things. But when the ball is in his hands, the numbers speak for themselves. 23.2 points per game this season, 56.8, 35.8, 78.8. Modern shooting splits, 2-point percentage, 3-point percentage, free throws, averaging a double-double. I think he's one of maybe 4 or 5 guys, I think, that are averaging a double-double this season at 10.3 rebounds a game, 8 assists a game. He's third in assists. He's third in total assists. I think he might also be, I think he's number 1 in assist points created, number 1 in 3-point assists created, number 1 in above the break 3-point assists created. Like, he's he's a really good basketball player, and he hasn't taken too many steps back with his defense, which is what really was his kind of claim to fame on a professional level. So him being able to operate as a primary player for a team and literally be the engine for an offense to the extent where they feel comfortable trading away Trae Young without getting any picks back, it says a lot.
Might as well call him the waiter. He's delivering the dishes, huh?
And
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
and with
he was waiting for Trae. This is very true.
With Jalen Gill, we've seen the Suns as a defensive unit shut down so many of the best players that they've played against. But if you go back to earlier in the season, the Suns 8-5, trying to move to 9-5 against the Atlanta Hawks, and Jalen Johnson in 39 minutes had 25 points, 9 of 13 from the field, 2 of 3 from deep, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. Was a plus 21 on the night. Of course, a big part of that 47-point fourth quarter that ended up having the Suns losing by 2. He is a unique matchup problem. We've seen them shut down some guards like Cade, but this guy is a walking mismatch.
Absolutely. I think that point forward archetype makes him just unique. He presents unique problems. And you think about guys who play the point forward position or guys who are bigger guards, whatever you want to think about it, they have a unique ability when they get defensive rebounds. That's one less outlet pass you have to make. They get the defensive rebound and they're pushing. They're pushing or they're making an outlet pass. He's great. He had a couple of those passes their last time out in Memphis, looking up, hitting ahead. And I think that provides such unique problems for opposing defenses because he's either doing that or he's super athletic. So now he's getting defensive rebound. He's pushing now in transition. They have guys who we'll talk about like Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who also can do that exact same thing. He can run his lanes in transition and things like that. So it's a little more difficult to, I guess, contain somebody like that because he can hurt you in so many ways. Steven pointed out the shooting splits. He's playing efficiently, and he's a smart player. And I think those are the things that are so difficult about a guy like that.
So how do you guard him tonight then? That's the question. Or do you not?
It's absolutely by committee.
Just let him score. Here, go ahead.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
You got it, big dog.
You could poke at with Atlanta's best players on the roster because they all don't have strengths that are ways that you can kind of exploit some of their weaknesses in tandem with that. There's creative ways you can go about it, but he's tough. And he has a motor too. I think that's the other part. I guess one thing to be good, it's another thing when you have a motor to go with that kind of competitive edge. Jalen has a lot of that. He's an actual tough guy from Duke.
But
you know, I will say, I love that about him. Dukies don't claim him. So it makes me appreciate the fact they don't like him.
He's not the only guy you got to watch out for tonight. The leading scorer, or the second leading scorer for the Hawks the last time they played the Suns was Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's somebody, Steven, that you look at his numbers for the season, they might be a little surprising.
If you're not paying attention, yeah, for sure. But 20 points, 20 and a half to be exact, for a role player, that's ridiculous. And then you look at the other numbers with it, 11.1 points more on average than he averaged last season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, which was a solid season for him. They got him a payday that landed him with the Atlanta Hawks. 51.3% from 2, 37.9% from 3 on almost 9 attempts, and then 87.1% from the free throw line, 48.3% three-point shooting percentage from Jalen Johnson passes. 55 of his three-point makes come from Jalen Johnson. That's the highest three-point assist tandem in the NBA. And he's also shooting in general 41.7% on catch and shoots. Not always just standstill. He gets into a little bit of movement at times. They run some staggers for him, some wide pin downs and things like that. But Nickeil is a high-level role player, probably top 10 in the league. He's that proverbial 3-and-D guy that can do a lot of things. Whether it's guarding Steph Curry in the off-ball actions he runs, or guarding someone like Devin who does a little bit of everything, or guarding somebody like an elite level guard that runs a lot of pick and roll. He can guard all of those guys and do so effectively.
So it's trying to jump the passing lanes between him and Jalen a key tonight, try to force some turnovers there to disrupt that?
It's hard to do because of some of the things they have with the lineups they use, but that's one way to do it. The Suns are really good with their off-ball defense. They're more than anything physical. Not always having to jump the passing lanes, but if the opportunity presents itself because of the physicality, Johnny on the spot, they go get it, and then they take off the other way.
I will say the other part about that, too, a lot of what Jalen Johnson gets is driving and kicking, right? So those 2 feet in the lane, we talk about it so much with the Suns. If he gets 2 feet in the lane, then you have to collapse a little bit, and then he can spray out to those guys, namely Nikhil, but Luke Kennard, Corey Kispert. They have some shooters, CJ McCollum around him. So I think a big thing is that point of attack defense we talked about. Keep that lane, discourage him from getting into that lane. I think that's another way to even do your work early in that sense.
Well, look, and those two, at a certain point, you just kind of got to let good players get their own, not like literally let them, but good players are going to perform well against you. I look at that, again, that first game against Atlanta, which was such like a shock in that fourth quarter, and that was when the Suns were really riding high as well. And it's Onyeka Okongwu, who was 3-9 from deep, 9-15 from the field, and was a team-high 27 points on the night for Atlanta. He's the type of center archetype that the Suns have struggled a little bit with, the one that is not worried about shooting from three at all. I would say focusing in on him, and it's like, look, you don't want to just let Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker go get their own, but Onyeka Okongwu is not able to go and self-create as much. And so I'm really looking at Mark Williams and Oso Ighodaro, and Oso's playing better now than he was then, on finding a way to neutralize his offensive capability, specifically shooting from deep.
I think you bring up Oso playing better than them. That was right in the midst of everybody being like, why is this guy in this lineup? Why is he part of the rotation? We've seen him grow immensely, in particular defensively, where I think that he'll continue that tonight, and that should play a key and be able to disrupt that where they couldn't in that first matchup.
Well, you look at one of their best players, one of their best value players too, Dyson Daniels, A+ defender, overrated in some capacities, extremely underrated in others, all on the defensive end, which is crazy that those two things can coexist at the same time. But that's it. He's not the best on-ball defender, but his off-the-ball defense is as good as it gets, and I think that anticipation is good. But on offense, where he has more weaknesses, he's not a three-point shooter. He had a good season last year. It's been the exact opposite this year. Why not just put Mark Williams on him? Why not put Oso on him? He's not a threat from out there. They love to put him in the dunker spot and allow for him to play to his offensive rebounding qualities. If he's got a big there, what is that allowing for him to do in terms of impact on offense? Do they make him screen more? Is that better for your defense if he's screening and it's not Okongwu or any of the other bigs that they have? I think that's something they did in the second half of their last game against the Hawks. The turnovers hurt them in the fourth quarter, and that's why Atlanta stormed back to win that game. But the Suns have a formula that they've leaned into multiple times before that they can use with Atlanta tonight.
Real quick, I got a trivia question for all of you. And if you know exactly off the top of your head, don't answer. I want to see what everybody else has to guess. Do you know the last time that Dyson Daniels made a three-pointer?
I'm not going to answer.
That game against us.
No.
I'm going to say December 27th.
Steven?
Last season, wasn't it?
No, it was this season.
Oh,
That's crazy. No, he hit 1 of 2 from deep against Philly Sunday, December 14th.
Ooh.
He has not hit a three.
He's like on a 0 for 50 something.
Yeah,
He doesn't shoot many. So
he's
I was like,
shooting like 1 or 2 a game, maybe. Sometimes he's 0 for, but like he has not hit more than 1 in a game this entire season. So this is somebody who going into last year, you're like, oh wow, he's really developed. Like that, he is a liability shooting wise. Still averaging 11.6 points per game, but not the same player he was
a lot in
last year.
Transition, a lot of offensive rebounds.
A lot of steals leading to points as well. AIA Edits with a 199 super chat. Thanks, AIA Edits. Said it's my birthday and my wish is for the Suns to win. Well, for that reason, I'm high on the Suns must-win meter, and for a couple others as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we all stand. A 9.2 overall. Everybody's high, and even Steven, who's at an 8. Ayrton's at a 9. Gil, you're at a 9. Espo and I are at a 10. My reasons are 1, AIA Edit's birthday. 2,
oh, that's why.
2, this team smacked you with a 47-point fourth quarter the last time you played. 3, you haven't won in Atlanta since 2014. 4, you're the 5th seed right now and got helped out by the West last night. And 5, I would really like it if they were 11 games over 500.
Oh, and that 4 seed is there. If the Rockets lose and you win, you're right there.
Yeah,
So-
Rockets in Detroit right now playing tonight. They're tied 10-10 halfway through the first.
And the other thing is I want to be right. That's 6. I picked a 4-2 trip, and they're 3-2 right now. So
That's
if they
real.
go 4, I want to be right.
Well, I think that's important though too, is to have a winning road trip,
Right.
and come back after another slog that people said, well, here we go, this is where it's going to fall off, and you go 0-2 to start, you sweep the back end of it. That's a huge deal coming back home for a tough slate against the East yet again. So yeah, get that 4-2. That's another reason why it's a 10 for sure.
Yeah, you want to keep stacking wins, especially while you're reintegrating Jalen Green back into your rotation as well. You're able to do that with winning. That comes with even a boost to the confidence you're already kind of riding the high off of. This is an important road trip to go 4-2 on. The opportunities there, you want to cash in on that.
And let's be honest here, like Atlanta's not playing their best basketball right now. Post Trae Young trade, the CJ McCollum experience has not been great. That's also number 6 on my Suns must win, is because I hate CJ McCollum and what he did to our beautiful league. But it is a game where there's a lot of factors going into it. And with the way the Suns have been playing basketball, this is a lesser team, right? And the road trip on a strong note. But it's still a team that can give you troubles and did give you troubles. We'll be doing a watch along for this game, just so everybody in here knows, on this very channel. So make sure that you've liked this video, you're subscribed to this channel, help us get to 50,000 subscribers, and then go to that other stream right after this one is over. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a little 2-screen experience. We'll put on Detroit, Houston. We'll do a little hate watch, and then we'll also be watching Suns, Hawks. But in order for the Suns to pick up a win tonight, what are the keys, Steven? What do they need to do?
Transition defense, number 1 for me. Atlanta has a crop of athletes. They are, I think, 6th in defensive turnover percentage. They get a lot of deflections. They have a lot of ways in which they go about getting them. Dyson Daniels spearheads a ton of that. They have a bunch of guys that can chip in that manner uniquely as well. You have to be sharp with the basketball for one, but inevitably you're going to miss shots. Being sharp in your transition, making sure you have guys back. Obviously, guys crash for the Suns, making sure you're staying ahead of the basketball, filling in those gaps and kind of stopping them from getting those early paint touches that they feed off of. That's number 1 for me. Number 2, back to the turnovers part, ball security. You want to take care of the ball. We talked about what happened in the fourth quarter, 47 points. That doesn't happen if you're not giving them possession after possession after possession. Take care of the ball, but also cash in on that. Can't get assists without scoring the basketball from those passes. 26 is a really good number for the Suns this season. As far as assists goes. And then number 3, your half-court offensive flow. A lot of athletes, they're good switching things up at times. They're good with being physical. You want to make sure you're keeping your flow, getting the shots that you want on the terms that you want to take them on. There might be a lot of zoom action tonight, like we talked about in the film session. That's something that the Suns kind of easily flow into. And I imagine they can get the shots they want so long as they're not turning the ball over.
By the way, if you haven't watched that video on the zoom action, Steven makes everybody smarter. Even an idiot like me gets that much smarter when it comes to basketball. Go check it out.
Not an idiot.
Yeah, it is.
Check it out.
Is
Appreciate
not an idiot, but it is a very good video. Make sure you go check that out. And I don't want to check into our pregame pick standings, but let's go ahead and get into our pregame picks. Of course, presented by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit promgambling.az.gov. All right, and that's the standings.
I should be at 0.
That
This
is a lot of red. It's call it Playboy Cardi. That's a whole lot of red. Ayrton
That's good.
in the negative. Gil, you're getting closer. Espo, you've been there down with me, but I'm at a negative
I
one.
am
Shout out
actually
Gil for holding it down.
I'm trying my best.
Gil's really riding the hot streak that he got when he first got in here. But you hit a bet recently
I did.
as well. So what are you going to put your money on tonight, Gil?
Well, it's pretty simple here. Dyson Daniels, 5+ assists. Devin Booker, over 6.5 first quarter points. He has it on his mind. He's never won in Atlanta, so he's going to be focused on that. Jordan Goodwin, over 13.5 points. And over 111.5 first half points from both teams. I'm expecting the offenses to get out and get going in the first half.
There's a funny comment coming in here saying Eric hasn't won one sports pick since 2014.
When he was 7.
Hey, I hit a couple this season. I was in the positive, and oh man. I actually hit one, and then the Madison Square Garden scorekeeper screwed me over.
Oh, Mister, I wouldn't complain if.
No, I didn't say I
any of
wouldn't
that happened to
complain.
me. Look
I
at
never
that.
said I wouldn't complain. If you know me, you know I would never say that I wouldn't complain. Let's see what I'm putting my money
I actually
on
hit the bet
tonight.
you know?
I'm taking Jalen Green 15+ points. I'm taking Grayson Allen over 3.5 assists. He has been passing the ball a lot lately, 14 assists over his last 2 games. I'm taking Jordan Goodwin over 1/2 3-pointers made, because why not? And then Mark Williams over 21.5 PRA. At a plus 1,000 with a 50% profit boost, this would put me right at about 0. I think it'd be like a 60-something cents below 0 if I hit this tonight. I feel good about it. Espo, where are you going?
Simple. Jalen Green, 25+ points, plus
Welcome back.
900.
I like that. I like that. I feel like he's going to be at 24, and then they're going to be checking him out of the game because the Suns are up 40.
It's all right. I can be a
Ayrton,
big boy about that.
how are you getting out of the negative tonight? You're taking Devin Booker, 25+ points. Oso Ighodaro, of course, the guy who coined the connector, is taking the connector over 11.5 PRA. And then Phoenix Suns money line at a plus 370 with a 50% profit boost would put you well back into the positive. Eric in the chat, a different Eric with a case, says, I got booked for 84 points.
Nice.
We'll
If you
take
hit
it.
You're going to be rich.
That would be pretty nice, especially like on the dot. Imagine scores 85 and you're really upset about it.
Tough.
All right, before we get to our watch along here, before we get into our predictions,
Wait, is Aaron Stacker in Atlanta?
no, I don't think so.
Everybody
unfortunately.
needs to know this.
I wouldn't put it past N Stacker, but I don't think so. Our final thoughts on a game that could put the Suns to 11 games over 500, 4-0 with Jalen Green in the lineup, hopefully 3-0 with him playing his entire allotment of minutes and breaking a curse that has stood for 12 seasons.
Take care of the basketball. You can score on this team if you take care of the basketball.
Get it done on defensive end. There are a lot of things that they want to get to on this one, and create your own energy, because we know that State Farm Arena isn't the most raucous environment. So create your own energy, get off to a good start.
One shout out Big Tigger doing the announcing for the Atlanta Hawks.
Fair
A
point.
very, very Atlanta thing for them.
Yes.
Makes the viewing experience very enjoyable, probably too enjoyable if I'm being honest. They could literally just play songs only Atlanta the entire game and feed everybody. But don't play with your food. Get out to a hot start tonight, sustain that, and make sure the game is played on your terms, because this is a team that you should be taking advantage of while they're trying to find their footing post-trade. Also, Corey Kispert started recently for the first time. I think it was Martin Luther King Day was his first start with the Hawks. That's a guy that doesn't get talked about a lot because CJ was involved in the deal, and obviously Trae Young before him. Kispert is going to add more value than anybody because that dude is a dead eye. Catch and shoots, pull-ups, movement threes, underrated passer. He's a good piece for them.
Well, he's starting tonight. It's him, Jalen Johnson, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Onyeka Okongwu, and Dyson Daniels. That is, again, a very, very tall starting lineup. I haven't checked for the Suns. Let me check real quick. I'm going to assume it's the same starting 5 that we've been seeing with Jalen Green coming off of the bench. And it's Dillon Brooks, Royce O'Neal, Mark Williams, Devin Booker, Colin Gillespie. Would love another good game from Colin Gillespie tonight. That would be fun, but I do think that this game is going to kind of get mucked up a little bit. Hit your open shots and don't turn the ball over. Don't get bit like the fourth quarter in last game.
Eric, the chat wants to know, have I killed your spirit when it comes to complaining?
Killed my spirit? No, nobody can kill my spirit when it comes to complaining. Come on, let's
In
be real
general,
here.
have I killed your
No,
spirit?
no, I wouldn't say so. I'd say if anything has killed my spirit, it's being negative 160 in our pregame
Spirit
pick.
killer.
But you know what? It can all change on the drop of a dime, or literally I'm dropping dimes every single game. But we're going to be watching together for our watch along on this channel. Ayrton just shared the link in there. Make sure you're subscribed. Please subscribe. Help us get to 50,000 subscribers. I know there's at least one person who watches this show every single day that is not subscribed to this channel. You can make a difference. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 50,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot. Let's go hate watch Pistons Rockets, and let's go root on the Suns. 11 games over 500, hopefully soon.
Ahoy, ahoy.
We all silly like the mayor.